Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And it's been a bit. There's been a couple things that have happened, but nothing really, really crazy. We haven't recorded anything about it. But then something big happened today where this was, you know what it was? We knew it was going to happen sometime. I thought it was getting to the point where, because of how late that this had happened, I was wondering if he wouldn't get a contract initially, and teams were content where they were, and maybe it would be an injury, and then he'd come kind of like a Kadeem Carey sort of situation. But it was just kind of
I thought it was going to be more of a training camp wise.
Well, I wasn't sure, but it was one of those things where it's like, he got 114 defensive tackles. I feel like somebody should pull the trigger before training camp for this guy. Always been one of the best linebackers in the CFL for a good amount of time. His defensive tackle numbers are just ridiculous. You look back to 2023, 134 defensive tackles in the 18 games that he had played. He got 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, and a forced fumble that year. That was his first year in Calgary that he had gotten that. And I think that was some kind of a record. I can't remember the exact record that it was, but I think it was for sure most defensive tackles for the Stampeders, at least for the franchise. I don't know how it was league-wide. I can't quite remember, but you can certainly look into it. It was his, if you want to look into it, it was his 2023 season in Calgary. But he will sign with the Alouettes. And so, for starters, Rick, how do you feel about this?
I mean, me and him have been chatting it up, just checking in with him and that. Yeah. I don't know about you, but this offseason has dragged on for quite some time. Yeah. I'm just glad that the draft's here in 21 days. Yeah. Training camp is like 3 weeks after that. Yours truly is going to the Ticats training camp for 4 weeks.
There you go.
But yeah, it's, you know what though? Now that I have that, I want to go check something. Because now that Sankey is gone, it's funny. You pretty much traded Sankey for Micah Alouette.
It was pretty much an Alouette-Sankey swap. That's basically what it ended up kind of being. So, and for those who are not aware, we've actually done an interview with Micah Alouette on the channel. Which if you go to our playlist, you'll see Canadian Football Central podcast episodes, and you'll see it was back when he was on Calgary, and it was one of our longest ones, probably one of the best ones that we had, and it was just a great chat with him. You get to learn kind of all about him as a player. He's just an awesome guy. You get to learn all about at the end. He talks about his own program or app, I believe, Purple Shift, which is really, really good for young and developing players and kind of getting their film out there and whatnot. And so this is a guy who's just a real veteran of the league. He's been very, very good for however long he's basically been around, really kind of hitting his stride in 2023 though, and has been pretty consistent since then. So it was one of those things where he was going to find a deal here. Even if you look back to his time in college at Texas Tech, he had gotten some experience playing with some truly incredible guys who would eventually end up in the NFL, which, again, that's all discussed in the interview that we did with him. So if you want to learn more about Michael Alouette, that interview is honestly a really, really good spot to learn all about that.
So if everything works out as it did last year, Beveridge's playing the weak side.
Yep.
Murray's playing the Sam linebacker, which means that Michael Alouette is playing the middle linebacker. But also at the same time, you have Canton Arku in the wind as well. So it's like, okay, where are they putting who, where, and what, and time will tell.
Yeah. But no, it's
just looking at their roster.
Yeah.
And now I'm talking Montreal's lineup from East Final last year. I cannot believe of how much has changed.
Yeah, well, you know what it was? Originally, it looked like there was going to be a lot of guys that were going to stick around as they'd kind of made some key signings relatively early on, you know what I mean? Pierre-Olivier Lestage had locked up. I think Davis Alexander had added like another year on there, and some other guys had signed. But then you started to see a little bit of an exodus of talent. Guys kind of leaving. Sankey was released, which was kind of a bit of a surprising one, especially since the Lions and the Alouettes here end up essentially doing a swap.
I think that was more of a salary cap than it was.
Yeah, although they mentioned ratio, although that's a little bit interesting in the sense of that Micah always status is as an American. So I don't know exactly how all that works, but
if you think about it,
yeah.
So Rambo's gone, Fletcher's gone, Mac's gone.
Mac's gone. Yeah, that was one that, like, it's funny. It was surprising, but also because it was one of those things where it's like he had not played a ton of games due to injury, but also it was like they signed him to a 4-year deal and they cut him off halfway through that.
Not only that, but going into next season, there's Scott the Third and Thesis. So I mean, there's that too.
Oh, Tice.
Yeah,
Travis
but
Tice?
It will be interesting to see how Montreal does.
Yeah.
Next year.
Montreal's a bit of a mixed bag in the sense of that I think the Ticats are pretty much exactly where they were before or potentially slightly improved. In the sense of I don't think they kind of took their foot off the gas this offseason. With Ottawa, they really put their foot on the gas. Toronto, mixed results. Some steps forward, some steps backward. But then the big unknown with Chad Kelly.
I'm going to bring this up. I don't care what anyone says.
Weird spot as well, where I don't know if they got better or if they.
Like
I'm talking overall as a roster. I don't know, and I think.
So here's the thing.
Yep.
I still haven't seen enough from Drew Brown yet to say he's the starter.
Yeah, that's valid.
2, is Edmonton trying to do the same thing, or Ottawa trying to do the same thing Edmonton does and try to win their way through the free agency and it doesn't pan out?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you know what the thing is? It sometimes pans out for some teams. Sometimes it doesn't pan out for every team. Helped the Riders, didn't help the Elks. So maybe just their hope is that Ryan Dinwiddie, he's able to be the difference maker there. But we're not here to talk about that, but we'll see in that front. We'll have other videos kind of talking about that. But I guess just kind of closing thoughts on the signing of Awe over in Montreal, Rick? I think it's a good signing. I think it's one of those things where it's like when they release Sankey, it's kind of like, okay, someone's got to go into that role. Are they going to try to promote from within? Are they going to bring somebody in? They ended up bringing somebody in, and they ended up bringing in someone who's got a pretty damn good resume for that position.
It'll be interesting to see where people go this offseason.
Yeah. Well, we're getting closer and closer, and you guys know as stuff comes out, we'll be releasing it and whatnot. And as mentioned before, just because he was gracious enough to come on our show, and I appreciate it.
Two things.
I was gonna say something. It wasn't like the outro. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say, if you're an aspiring young player, download Purple Shift. Use it. It's great stuff. You can learn all about it at the end of our interview with Mike Galway. Anyways, Rick.
Yes, I was going to mention two things.
Yep.
Number one, over on the Ticat, or not the Ticat anymore, it's the Hamilton Sports Central.
That's right.
April 28th, 7 o'clock. We will be doing a live stream of the whole CFL draft. It will be me and John, and then Carter will dip his head in there at some point.
How's it going? Uh-huh.
Number two, as training camps end, I'm sure, depending on Carter's new work schedule, that is, I'm sure we'll have our season previews for each team coming out soon as well.
We'll figure it out, but we'll make it work. You know it. We'll have to do some recordings at record o'clock, which Rick knows means 2 in the morning.
Well, it all depends on your work schedule. It doesn't matter for mine.
Might be at 2 in the morning on a weekend. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a like, share it around, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you guys haven't, make sure you guys join our Discord. Link in the description below to our Discord server where we talk all things CFL, NHL, all sorts of sports stuff. We've added actually a huge section for CFL where it's got transactions, it's got articles, it's got all sorts of stuff in there, even just kind of some fun polls with CFL fans on their predictions and whatnot. So make sure you guys check that out. And yeah, so without further ado, we will see you guys next time.